Just to add another thing too, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, Warren Yeager, who has stepped down as county commissioner and now is the restore coordinator for Gulf County, he represented the 8 counties very well and saying, you need to leave it alone. You need to leave it alone, so he did that. But can we meet on you want to talk to us? Do you want to talk to us individually or do you want us in a workshop setting?
It doesn't matter. I mean, we can do it individually and see if it looks like everything's pretty straightforward. And then I just, let me talk to you all and just see if there's a lot of questions. I don't think there will be, but I'll defer to, if you all want a workshop, we can set up a workshop. I don't think it's necessary. Right?
Well, I was thinking Thursday we have that budget hearing, that public hearing.
Yeah, but I had agreed to meet with Mr.
Yes, that's right.
Hadaway down
That's
there
right.
in Ellis Court. And Michael will talk to you about the Ellis Court thing in a second here. But well, let's see how it goes on Thursday. Okay.
Well,
Yes, sir.
can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Have they gave us the do's and the don't for the part of the money what we supposed to get?
They are working on that. One reason, and I be honest, Commissioner Lockley, the U.S. Treasury, in the meetings that I'm having, in the teleconferences with county staff people, I mean, we are actually benefiting from everybody's travails and troubles trying to get U.S. Treasury to create all the rules. I mean, nobody has gotten any money yet because Treasury is still developing rules and guidelines. So our money is reserved as well as every other county's money. No one at this point has submitted. The first step is going to be, getting a planning grant for us small counties. Each county, Gulf, Wacoa, and Franklin are probably going to fall in this category because we don't have money to pay to get some of this stuff done. The first step is to get a planning grant. And that planning grant will then create what's called a multi-year implementation plan. And it's that multi-year implementation plan that Treasury is still sort of fiddling with. So no county has submitted a multi-year implementation plan yet and been approved. I'm not sure anyone's even submitted one yet, but none have been approved because they're still tinkering in Washington. There's always questions about how this is going to work. And so we're sort of benefiting by other people. Bay County, Jim Mueller is probably the leader on this thing. He's a full-time paid staff over there, and he's done more than anybody else, but even he hasn't submitted a multi-year plan yet.
So that means ain't no need to have a council meeting until we can.
Right, until we have a better idea of what the steps are going to be. That's correct. And some other counties have had council meetings, and they've submitted all these hundreds of projects, and now they're going to have to go back and have these people resubmit based upon the guidelines. And so we've avoided all that controversy here in Franklin County by not getting people all geared up for go this way, and guess what? Now you got to go that way. So in a way, we've saved a lot of confusion at the local level. But hopefully, next few months, I see us getting up to speed and having a restore meeting and getting. But I was waiting until Treasury said that's the way you go, and so then we know how to get people to the end, to the goal line.
But when that come in, good, we need a couple.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. No, they're working on it now, and there's manuals the U.S. Treasury developing that are still sort of in revision. But the county is pot one right now. Everything goes to pass, and of course, the judge has not ruled yet. If the judge rules, our pot one is approximately $21 million now. But that's assuming the judge rules as it's been proposed, and he still hasn't ruled yet. So there's Commissioner Sanders talked about. I think the Transocean settlement is $5 million, $7 million, something along the lines you're talking about, and that money is there, but no one can get to it because they can't get the multi-year plans approved yet. But it'll take up more of our time in the future.
And Commissioner Dewberry said they'll be very active with the council when they do start the meeting, so they'll really guide them as to what they need to do and what's expected of them.
Part of their contract, they'll be the staff of the council,
Yeah,
essentially.
they like the staff, so that'll be very helpful.
Well, how do they gonna get paid before we get the money?
That's one of the terminology I'm going to give with Mr. Schuer. They are able to, they will have to wait for reimbursements from that we will submit to Treasury before they get paid.
Yeah.
And they're aware of that.
And they've agreed, that's agreed, that was the small.
And I have some language to give to Mr. Schuer that I got just this morning from Dewberry to put into the contract to protect us from
If
that.
you'll recall, Commissioners, the board has faced this issue once before with the response to the BP oil spill when we had the response team that came in and we put that same language or similar language into that contract that they do not get paid for their services until the county should receive reimbursement from BP. So I'm sure I'll put recreate some of that original language because, as you'll recall, we had a big controversy there at the end, and there was about $500,000 that if the board had not inserted that conditional payment language into the contract, they would have sent you a bill for $500,000. And so y'all were protected in that sense, and we'll make sure that we have similar language in this Dewberry contract.
Yeah, and Gulf County's got it in their contract already, so I'm gonna give you that language.
I haven't seen their language.
Right, that's why I haven't had time to get to you. Okay.
You have anything, anybody got anything for Alan? I'm just gonna, Alex is here from the Congress office today, we appreciate it. You have anything you need to say? Come on,
Good morning, everyone.
good morning.
Just wanted to remind y'all that the Congresswoman's office hours are going to be next door at the courthouse, starting here in about 30 minutes. We'll be there until noon, and I believe I'm going with you over to East Point after that. Is that correct?
Yeah, you going with me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Well, I always love the days that the Congresswoman sends me over here. This is one of my favorite places to be personally.
I have a question for Alex.
Yes.
As I always do, Alex, what's the latest on the East Point channel?
No change since last month when I brought you up to speed that the Congresswoman is working on it up in D.C., and she's been doing a lot with the Army Corps here recently.
Okay, well, we need something done.
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess and come back and
Yes, sir.
finish up with you.
Yes, sir.
Board of County Commissioners now back in session. Mr. Michael?
Morning again, Commissioners.
Morning.
Start off with item 1. Inform the board that we received notice from the Department of Economic Opportunity that the final payment on the loan for the George E. Weems Hospital has been received. A copy of that letter is attached. Alan, you remember the total amount for that loan?
There were two loans of, I think, $300,000 each, a total of $600,000.
That's what I thought.
That's correct.
So that's good news. So we did item 2 already. Item 3, inform the board that the Marshall Field Station on Little St. George Island is being considered for nomination for listing in the National Register of Historic Places. I also attached a copy of that letter for your information. Okay, and item 4, I need board action to authorize the chairman's signature on a resolution designating Friday, September 25th as Estuaries Day and the entire week, from September 19th to the 26th as National Estuaries Week. A copy of that resolution is attached.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And last week, while some of us was in St. Pete, the legislative delegation meeting is now set for Monday, September 28th. A time will be announced later, but it will be in the early evening.
They'll be doing a joint meeting, they'll do
Gulf County, and then coming this way. Item 6, inform the board that Senator Mumford's office has also distributed their 2015 community budget request forms. The board has until November 30th to return the forms. As with last year, the senator recommends the board identify their number 1 project. We need some discussion of that. I attached a copy of the form in case you needed to review it.
It's time to think about things,
But
you know,
we do
goals
need to
get
say a
the
number
project,
1,
yeah.
so we don't end up
Did
like,
what we ranked last year in, what did we rank it last year?
Well, last year's number 1 project was the University of Florida Extension Office renovations.
But that's right.
That's been
It
done.
was.
That was number 1, and that got funded. And that was the only thing that got funded. And below that, we had the East Point Channel was a project. We had the Hollow in Carabel, the drainage in Carabel. We had drainage in Apalachicola were projects.
Didn't we have the soccer field through Ferdat? Well, that was Ferdat.
That was Ferdat.
That was Ferdat. Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, it's.
so would you like us to send you the list from last year and you guys look it over? Is that what you're asking
Yeah,
for?
send it to us on our iPad and let us look it over and let's think of what we're gonna do.
The limitations of our list last year, the project that didn't get funded last year, was like the drainage project as an example. Some of those could be funded or been run through a state agency. We didn't have any state agencies, showing support for these projects. So I'm sort of thinking maybe we should sort of recreate some better ideas.
Well, what would help it on the Smoky Hollow drainage project would be if the city of Caryville put that as one of their priorities also, since it's in the city of Caryville. But,
And same thing with the city of Apalachicola.
yeah, same thing with the city of Apalachicola, but, on projects like that, we need to be consistent with what the municipalities want.
So if they're not, then we need to fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll send you the list and we start from there and move on.
I read in some of these documents that you put in a package here that it also says that they're expecting to have a budget shortfall next year. So we need to consider what we ask for funding for, that You know, we try to limit, I mean, if you ask for $1 million, it don't sound like you're gonna get it. So, I mean, you need to kind of, as everybody's looking at it and thinking about it, it needs to be something that we can
Yeah, I think, I'll be honest.
have a good chance of getting funded.
$100,000 to $500,000 is the scale. If you ask for much more, you're right, it's gonna be a hard time.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we treated FERDAP commissioner, we knew that they'll probably approve the 50,000
Right.
project versus.
Right.
Moving on. Okay. Item number 7, inform the board that Mr. Doug Hadaway contacted Allen last week Thursday about additional improvements at Ells Court. Apparently, the state is able to count the acquisition in some fashion with BP, and so FDEP is supporting the efforts to obtain additional funds. Allen has made a request for $100,000 to build an elevated boardwalk, improve the parking, and create kayak launches at the ends of the existing piers.
And I'll meet out there this Thursday with Mr. Hadley, some state representatives to go over what options we have. Initially, and I talked to Commissioner Sanders about this, initially the idea, I'll be honest, those of you who can visualize the park, Ellis Court is 2.5 acres approximately on the south side of the road. It's a beautiful setting on the south side of the road. But the bulk of the land we bought is on the north side of the road. It's almost 5 acres on the north side of the road. US 98 bisects it on a dangerous curve there. In a perfect world, I would try to get that road moved north so that we had more land on one side of the road and could really do something down there. Because my concern was, when I talked to Commissioner Sanders about this, if we get this additional money and we start doing things on the north side of the road, I don't want to create a traffic hazard for the community by having parking on the north side of the road or whatever's on the north side of the road, and then people wanting to walk across the street, on a bad curve, people going 45 miles an hour. I don't want to create a traffic problem down there. So at this time, I'm looking at improvements only on the south side of the road, because no one would give me enough approval to move the road north. That's
Well,
the big
and the
problem.
improvements that you make, Alan, need to be very passive
Yes.
improvements, very passive, because that is a dangerous curve there, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted the property, is that somewhere in the future, maybe we can, realign the road.
And we still have a requirement to to reforest the area also, so yes.
The
it's gonna be-
maritime
Yeah,
hamlet.
it's gonna be dangerous, because we're having the same problem over, east of East Point with
With
the
the
park there
RV
walking across
exactly
the
the-
road.
Yes, sir. Same
But
problem.
That's why they need to move that road over, then you got that bypass, you can use the existing one as a bypass. And it'll be better, cause it's already dangerous then when
It
you
is.
put people in that area.
It is.
But
It's
we
gonna be
quickly
real.
looked at moving the road north, and it was, $500,000, $1 million, and we weren't gonna get that kind of money, and DEP said that's not a,
Priority.
Yeah.
use for that, they were gonna fund.
Yeah, no, it's not a priority. And I can say it now that's one of the reasons why I wanted to buy the piece of property, because I didn't feel like we needed to have condos there. We had the little motels and stuff, and that caused enough problems. But with the recent accidents there and the death resulting from that, I thought it would be a good idea to get that and try to, sometime in the future, may not be within my lifetime, but hopefully to sometime within the future, that we would be able to realign that road to make it an easier place to get off and on the road.
You doing, plan on dying early?
You don't never know.
Item number 8, Commissioners.
I'm ready.
Board action to sign a work order with Pebble Ridge for surveying work associated with the road to the new airport industrial site. Even though the airport committee has not finished ranking consulting engineers, Pebble Ridge can move ahead with the surveying work on the projects. They would not be acting as a sub to AFCON, but will be working directly for the board, surveying the work as laid out in the FDOT funding agreement. Board action to allow work to continue on the project until a consulting engineer is selected, and I attached a copy of that work order to your packets.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
And continuing with the airport, board action to reduce the membership of the Airport Advisory Committee to 7 members from the current 9. 2 existing members have not attended in several years. One has been absent since 2011 and the other 2013, and need to be deleted from membership. By reducing the size of the committee, it will be easier to have a quorum, and the membership of the committee is not set by ordinance, but by action of the board.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
One more item at the airport. Board action to approve a committee consisting of Alan, Ted Mosteller, and Jason Puckett, the airport manager, to review the RFQs for airport consulting engineers. This action will expedite the process, I will still be the one tallying the scores and inform the board of the rankings. I know at the last meeting, we went through with Ted and we did some of the members, but even that is turning out to be a process that's taking up some time.
So this is the way y'all wanna do it?
Yeah, it's the quickest way, and I
So
think we can
moved.
get it done faster.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Uh-huh.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item, the issue of whether Pogie Road northwest of, which is located northwest of Apalachicola off of Bluff Road, is a public road recently came up. Pogie Road runs approximately 485 feet north of Bluff Road and contains .22 acres. The board discussed this issue back in 2008, but the minutes are not clear as to what was determined at that time. The road department has documentary evidence that they have been maintaining Pogie Road since 2008, and anecdotal evidence that the county has maintained the road for several years prior to then. So we're recommending board action just to go ahead and designate it. a
So
county road.
moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item 12, inform the board that Mr. Robin Brinkley, the billing official, has informed Allen that he intends to retire as soon as a qualified billing official can be hired. Mr. Brinkley has begun working part-time and will continue to do so until his replacement is hired that meets the state requirements for acting as a billing official. The starting salary for the billing official is $45,000 a year. In order to sit for the exam as a building official, an applicant must have at least 10 years' experience in the construction industry at a level acceptable to the state. In order to issue building permits, the county must employ a building official. Because Mr. Brinkley has started working part-time, Allen has informed the city of Apalachicola that they will need to take back the responsibility of issuing city building permits and inspections. In the letter Allen wrote to the city, the county will continue to issue permits for the city until September 30th, and we will do the inspections for all permits we have issued. No one in the building department is qualified to take the state exam, so Allen recommends the board advertise the vacancy. Copies of the job announcement and the letter to the city are attached to your packet.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I guess we run for 2 weeks after this, what the paper would allow, and then we move forward from there. I'll let you, keep you updated as to what we do. The next item, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on a on a site visit completeness letter that is part of the county's CDBG application. A copy of the letter and DEO's request for the letter is attached. This has to do with that project Deborah Belcher's working on, that grant. It's just part of the application. They were here, they met with Mark, and they need a letter saying that, they had a site visit.
It's a step in the right direction of getting funded.
Yeah, we're moving forward with that.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And just to keep you updated on the Chapman Auditorium project, we have received the warranties for that roof for that project. We actually have them as part of the board file.
How much wanted they give?
I should
Offhand.
have it somewhere. It's 20, let's see here.
That's good. 20 years? That's real good.
I got a 15-year for the manufacturer and a 2-year contractor's warranty.
Okay.
And the roof, they did test drain. and
Leaking.
did not leak,
Yep.
And you'll get some money back,
Yeah, a little bit more money back.
but the project came in under budget.
Yeah. In addition, I think to what I reported at the last meeting.
I told.
Final item, Commissioners. Inform the board that Kim Bodine was on a conference call regarding the use of the Department of Agriculture's funding for the shelling program. Senator Mumford, Representative Beshears, Commissioner Putnam, Cal Knickerbocker, and others were on the call. During the call, there were concerns raised about the cost of the shelling program that included the salaries that they're paying, payments to the oyster shellers, and the material mover, equipment handler, his contract. A copy of Ms. Bodine's email that explains this meeting in more detail is attached, and the discussions between Kim and the Department of Ag are still ongoing.
We got Shannon Hartsfield out here. You mind coming forward, Shannon?
Shannon, you were on the conference call also, correct?
No, I was not.
You was not?
No, I
Oh, I'm
was
sorry.
not.
Thought I saw your name on the list.
I was informed of everything, but, good morning, Commissioners. When they announced that they had this money, they was proudly to announce it, it was $560,000.
Yes, sir.
Well, from when they announced it until time to receive it, they've decided that everybody was getting paid too much money. They wanted it all reduced by a third. There's no way. I mean, we tried to stretch it out. We even went to 2 days a week for a while. The shelters were struggling, you know, at $250 a week. You know, $375 a week. If that's getting paid too much, I don't know what, you know, this county is expecting. Well, y'all know it's not getting any better out there. It's, you know, all this bar shelling. I mean, there's going to be bar shelling for the next 5 years. There's more money coming in for bar shelling. There's another $4 million coming for bar shelling. I mean, there's stuff for bar shelling for a while. But the problem with that is also a lot of it's not going in the right area. We've showed time and time what we've been doing works. You know, we got a really good spat set out there this year. They just ain't had time to grow. I mean, the east end of the bay is coming back. The west end of the bay still the same situation, dealing with it's not surviving. The ratio of spat survival is really low. So,
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I did some research on this. You know, I'm going to do some research on it. But I did some research on this, and this money is coming out of the excess funds from the voter registration funds. And the person that made the bill up in the Senate side was the chairman of the Agricultural Committee, Mr. Bill Montford, Senator Bill Montford. What I would like to do is for Michael Marone, and if you want anything else done, Shannon, you tell me. But I would like Michael Marone to get a hold of Miss Marsha Mathis and have them lobby in our defense. If the Department of Ag has problems with the way it's being done or not being done, that's something that they need to work out. But don't punish the people of Franklin County that is depending on the shelling program to make ends meet. Because you all know, as we've been notified from FWC, they're going to allow 2 days on Cat Point, 1 day on East Hole, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
Have
ma'am.
they changed that?
No, ma'am. Cat Point will be open 4 days a week, Monday
days
through
a
Thursday.
week?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
he's
So,
changed
well,
it.
the only thing that's closed and is permanently closed right now will be Dry Bar.
Okay.
East Hole will be open every Monday.
East Hole be open every Monday?
Yes, ma'am.
Monday. Well, and that's, I'll get to that in a little bit. But anyway, that's what needs to be done. We don't need to get, the people of Franklin County does not need to get caught up in the bureaucracy of the state. And, I mean, I'm putting that to a motion that we contact Senator Montford, have him and his staff work through this and try to come back with some kind of helpful decision that will help the people of Franklin County continue shelling. And if they've got a problem with the administrative fees that's being charged, if they're having a problem with the amount that the material mover and the equipment hauler is doing, that's on them. That has nothing to do with the people of that bay, that works on that bay. And so I'm going to put it as a motion that we contact him and ask him to intervene on our behalf.